Hello, Suns fans. This is Suns Latest. I am Rich Rubin. As of this recording, I think I messed up the last time because I'm not a mathlete, and I've said that many times. Over 1,200 Sunscribers to Suns Latest. And so thank you for your comments and your Sunscribing, and thank you to Fan Art for the platform. This is a blast. If you've noticed, there's no Suns posters behind me. It's because I am in Scottsdale at the parents' house, and as you all know, after you turn 60, anywhere in Arizona, it is the law and it is required that you move to Scottsdale and you get a house that is all white. So sorry for the drab background. Oh, or you become an incredibly avid reader, and like my parents, you have all the books ever. So they're awesome, and my parents and I very luckily have a really good relationship. But man, I'm so glad I get to do this here because this is going to be the most exciting part of the weekend. So let's get to it. Quote, I told him, son, what is it with you? Is it ignorance or apathy? He said, Coach, I don't know, and I don't care. That was said to center Jeff Wilkins, who at 6'11 and 230 was a decent pro, who I actually saw play live, and I can tell you why he said what he said. But he wasn't interested in playing basketball. That was said by the great Frank Layden, the coach, and I think for a certain point in time, the GM of the Utah Jazz back in the Stockton Malone days, and before Sloan got there. And Frank Layden was one of the funniest guys to ever sit on an NBA sideline. There's a billion quotes from him. But I just remember watching Jeff Wilkins play, who had a good NBA body, but he wasn't an athlete. He ran like a duck, and he could not possibly be more disinterested. So that quote fits him very well, and I always remembered it because I remember I saw Jeff Wilkins play. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let's get through this part. Probably the worst loss of the season for us. Suns at Rockets last Friday after a big win and a good rest against the Lakers a week ago Monday. The Rockets win decisively, 117-98. They were at full strength, except they didn't have Şengün. The first game that they came to Phoenix and beat us, they didn't have KD. So as I said, this is a bad matchup for us. KD's first game against us since being traded for Dillon Brooks and Jalen Green. He missed the game last month for personal reasons. But on Friday, he scores 28. Now he's the 8th player in NBA history to score 31,000 career points. Amen Thompson killed us again with a season-high 31. We cannot handle a guy like that. Dillon Brooks can only do so much. As great a defender as Dillon Brooks is, when you got a springy young dude who is that long and lean and can just jump over people, that's a hard guard for us, and even Mikal Bridges would have had trouble with him. I like Ryan Dunn on him, and Ryan Dunn did some pretty good stuff in the game. As I said, we just don't match out well with this team. Şengün was out. Steven Adams, game time decision, but he did play. He had 4 points and he had 8 rebounds. He's always effective when he's on the court, and he's just too freaking big for us. I would have liked for Mark Williams to take him out of the pivot and do something more in the way of shooting over him like he did against the Lakers and being more active. For some reason, we just weren't there. It was a little bit off. We were up by 9 early, but Houston scored 44 in the second quarter. That's not the defensive team. That's not our defensive identity to let a team get 44 in a quarter on us. So something was not clicking, and I have an idea why. We were up 58-52 with a few minutes left in the first half. That was it. 23 for the Villian career high, 18 for Jamari Bouye on 7-11, and 2 for 3 on threes. He has been a nice pickup for us. I can't see a weakness in his game. I wish he was 3 or 4 inches taller. He'd be a better defender, but he does what he can. He's got a strong, good low center of gravity. He defends really hard. He can be a real pest. I really like him. What do you think of Bouye, besides, him having the coolest name in the league? I want to know what you think of Bouye. Just curious. We shot 14% on threes. Unacceptable. 14% on threes for this team. Can't have it. Bouye was the only son to do any damage from long range. Villan Jr., 1 for 7. Dillon Brooks, 0 for 4. Royce, 0 for 4. Royce basically quietly won the game for us in LA a week ago with 11 assists, and he just took care of all of Booker's little things that Booker does that don't show up in the box score. 0 for 4. Rasheer Fleming played 8 minutes, took 3 threes, missed them all. Jordan Goodwin, 1 for 6. At least Grayson Allen went 1 for 7. I know I'm sounding really cynical. I'm not coming down on the team. I'm just telling you this is the box score. Grayson also had 3 turnovers, shot 3 for 12 from the field. He was not very fluid either, so maybe that quad is not 100% healed. 5 for 36 on threes. It's a giant pile of yuck. We shot like crap from the field too. 39%, 39 out of 100 shots. No Devin Booker, who has also been one of our worst three-point shooters as of late. Not a lot to be happy about, and probably our worst loss of the season, as I said. It's not going to get easier. We're at Timberwolves tonight, and I can promise you they will be looking to pounce on us after we beat them at home a couple of weeks ago. We are 13-10. Still, we are ahead of schedule. It was an odd loss, and I'm not going to say we gave up. I think the Rockets imposed their will on us, and I honestly think we tried. Sometimes you try too hard and forcing shots, and you're just not loose, and that is why the three-point shooting went to hell. Not easy to get happy after that, but we are the Suns, and if anything, this has been a resilient team. So I look for us to give Minnesota hell. I have a feeling they're going to be coming for us. It is going to be a good game. Let's get to your comments at Relax Resell, a relatively new Sunscriber. I hope you're a Sunscriber. If you're not, no worries. Thank you for commenting. Relax Resell says, I haven't followed the Bucks. We've been talking a lot about Giannis and the Bucks, mostly about Giannis. And when you talk about one player, you talk about the team and what's wrong. Giannis is going to be a Knick very soon. I just mark my words. I'm sorry. I'm now getting to your comment. Relax Resell. I haven't followed the Bucks since we lost to them in the 2021 finals. What do you think soured the relationship between Giannis and the Bucks since then? Not winning. They were peaking when they won in 2021. They got old really quick. Middleton fell off, mostly due to injury, but he really fell off. And when he was on, perfect compliment to Giannis. He didn't need the ball, but when he got him the ball, he'd make a shot. It's really simple. The Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard trade was a disaster. I know if anybody would say, you know what, we're going to get Damian Lillard and all we're giving up is Drew Holiday, most people would make the trade. I would not. Dame Lillard, older than you think, and has a lot of miles on him. Drew Holiday has miles on him, but he doesn't play like it, and he's doing really well in Portland. Drew Holiday is ultimate glue, ultimate hard-nosed guy, can pick up scoring if you need him, and there's no question he's one of the greatest defenders of all time. He can guard either guard position. He can guard small forwards. So when they traded for Lillard, I understood the concept of going after a superstar to have a 1-2 punch, not the right fit. We talked about it. We had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, not the right fit. Brook Lopez got old, and Brook Lopez was old 5 years ago. Now you can just see it. He can barely walk on the Clippers. And Portis was and is overvalued. He was good in that system as that energy guy, but you can't rely on him on a game-to-game basis in the way that you needed him when it was in 2021. Getting rid of Coach Bud at the time was weird too. Halfway through the season, the Bucks had the best record in the league, and then they won what? They won the first cup, and then they just fell apart. Anyway, that's what happened. Bills Carnage. Why the hell would Giannis want to go to New York over L.A.? I don't know. I hate LA as much as anyone, but New York is a dirty word, Mr. Carnage. The Knicks are also a poorly run franchise considering the resources, but Giannis only mentioned the Knicks when it came to being traded. Maybe he's leveraging. Maybe he's saying, I want to go to the Knicks, and quietly doing something under the table and ends up in LA. All I can tell you is in his head, as a Greek-born player and a guy who has done everything he's supposed to do and more for the Bucks, winning a title, bringing a championship to the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden, biggest NBA market, biggest media market in the country, the NBA would eat it up. The media outlets are all New York based. They're all there. They're all in Connecticut, or they're all there. Good for the league too. So there's stuff that we don't know that is happening on that end, but. Maybe he does want to go to LA. I think him and Luka actually would be a good match. I don't know why, just off the top of my head. But he's made it pretty clear. That's where he wants to go. So, I don't know. I don't think New York is so dirty word. I like New York City. It's kind of fun in doses. Abita406, hello. Always sad to hear about the NBA player's death. Eldon Campbell just passed away at, I think, 53 years old. He was drowning, but he had a medical condition. The whole story still hasn't come out yet. As a medical professional, interesting fact I can tell you is that NBA players' average lifespan is about 77. Well, I think that's the average human lifespan, and it's like 76. And NFL players is about 56. That I knew, and that one's really sad. Obviously, each person passes for different reasons. Sadly, these athletes that are in such good shape don't, for some reason, usually live to see 100. Well, personally, I have no desire to get past 90 or even 85, really. I just don't. I don't know. Let's wrap it up. Sadly, I lost my mother today, and she was a Phoenix Suns fan. I'm really sorry about that. I hadn't read ahead. I'm so sorry for the loss of your mother. That's really sad. But Suns fan, she's going to a good place. I truly pray for this tenacity and passion with our team and that we can take it as far into the playoffs. If my mother can help from above, maybe we can win it all. Let's go. Really sorry about that. BYB Boxing. Rich, as you and I discussed not long ago, this package for Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be as big as KD, I think, coming to the Suns. Oh, okay. Yeah, from the Knicks, it'll be pretty big. That being said, do you think that he faked his injury or just made the decision he wants to sit down until the trade has happened? Interesting point. We're not getting him. I read your comment wrong. I thought the package was, well, who would we package? It's not about us. But he can go and will go wherever he wants. He's Giannis. And he will go to a bigger market than Milwaukee because NBA and Giannis. Just look at how it's always gone down. These guys don't go to smaller markets. They go to they make lateral moves to better teams, or they go to a bigger market and save the team. That's it. That's how it works. So he's been everything to the Bucks, who fell off fast, and Giannis has gotten better. In the last 5 years, you could have made Giannis MVP of the league, and people would have said, yeah, it might not have been the popular pick, but there's no arguing it. As far as the package from the Knicks, I mentioned it before. We talked about it, Mr. Boxing. It was what? Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think the Knicks are going to get rid of Bridges or Brunson. Everybody else is fair game. And, of course, they're going to have to trade Cat, which I don't think the Knicks will have a problem with. It is such an upgrade to get Giannis. Cat is incredible offensively. Cat does nothing else. And his rebounds, watch Cat's rebounds. They're at the end of the game. When it doesn't matter, they're the team rebounds that he snatches. He is a crap rebounder. He is not a good big man. He's a great shooter. Leave it at that. Big years, 11. You've commented once before. Welcome back. I hope the Rocket game opened up people's eyes to how much Devin Booker means to this team. Yeah, a lot of criticism about Booker, and you can criticize him all you want, but most of you are wrong because a lot of you don't see what he actually does for the Suns. Big Ears goes on to say, Booker draws all the attention defensively, opens up the three-point shooting. Did you notice how bad Grayson Allen and Colin Gillespie's three-point shooting was? Yeah, because no Book. Because now they get to key on these other guys, and the Rockets can play defense. I guarantee you, Kevin Durant said, hey guys, Book is out. Just guard these guys straight up. They won't make a three. I'll guarantee you that was said in the locker room before the game. At one point, we were 3 from 20 from three. Says it all. Lakers game plan for Booker and couldn't adjust on the fly. Dylan Brooks wasn't bad, but once they went in at halftime, they said no more Brooks, and they shut him down and wouldn't let him get the ball. I see it as it is. They were making sure he didn't get to his spots. I'm guessing the same people hating on Booker will say he's peaked, and now he's on the decline. Really good Devin Booker observation. Book was destroying the Lakers a week ago before he got injured. 10 minutes into the first quarter. He had, Booker had 11 points, like 4 assists and 3 rebounds in 10 minutes in the first quarter before he went down. And Colin Gillespie, what happened to Colin Gillespie? Well, before the Lakers totally adjusted, he had 8 3-pointers. When Book is in the game, they leave everybody alone. They're finally figuring out that, these guys can make a bucket. But Booker sitting, there you go. They shut down Brooks in the second half. He made 4 for 10 in the second half, but Villain Jr. got the ball, and Bouye helped out a lot. Lakers didn't adjust perfectly, and one of you pointed out, where I said Luke is always in the MVP running, he said, why? He's not a good defensive player. That is a liability for the Lakers, and it's going to be, unless they get another stopper. Vanderbilt was supposed to be the guy that made it even out, but he can't seem to get into a game lately. So really excellent point. But yeah, Luka can't play defense, and Gillespie made them all look stupid. Excellent point. Booker haters just refuse to see how valuable he is. What's up, 1506? I think you are new. Welcome to Suns Latest. I know everyone will disagree with me, but I think the Suns should trade Booker. Look, no one is untouchable, and I'm going to contradict everything I said about Book. Not about his playing, but his value. If it works and we can get picks, or it helps the Suns' long run, we traded Charles Barkley, we traded Jason Kidd, we traded CP3, we traded Paul Westphal, we traded Walter Davis, we let Nash become a free agent. No one's untouchable. It's the NBA. Every team is, think about it. Almost every team has traded their main superstar. At least once. I mean, I know, but hey, the Lakers traded Shaq. For whatever the reasons are. It happens, So it's so rare to have a player like Booker who starts and looks like he will finish his career with the Suns. Is there a better spot for him? I don't know. It's kind of cool to have somebody you drafted and he retires with the team. but business is business. And so I get what you're saying. Kipper4461, I think you're another new Suns latest commenter. Hello, welcome. With all this trade talk, why is no one mentioning Zach LaVine? I'd be so down for trading Jalen Green and maybe a rookie or two for Zach LaVine. No, absolutely not. He disappears every few games, and he's a terrible defender. And people get suckered into by his athleticism. Yes, he's a two-time All-Star, but a lot of guys were a two-time All-Star, and they didn't really make an impact. He's not a needle mover. He's an amazing athlete, incredible dunker, and I think a lot of people get sucked in by that. But he's 30 years old. He's been tested. I think he's useless. I honestly think he's useless. He's a bad passer, bad defensive player. He hasn't moved the needle. He didn't move the needle for the Wolves. He goes to the Bulls as part of the Bulls system for a minute. When Lonzo Ball was feeding him, his offense went up, and he was an all-star with the Bulls, and that's cool. In the East, wasn't an all-star with the Timberwolves. He's the kind of player who gets traded, and the team he leaves gets better or stays the same, and the team he goes to, nothing changes. Mark my words on that, and look at the history of a guy like Zach LaVine. I don't. No, I don't want Zach LaVine in any capacity, and I never did. Same with DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan's got something wrong with his head. What was it? When he was on Toronto, and they were talking about the matchup between him and LeBron, when LeBron went back to Cleveland, and LeBron just destroyed the guy in those playoffs. Just absolutely demolished him after a certain point. DeMar DeRozan has him in the same. Him and Zach LaVine are the same players as far as I'm concerned. Tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think they do anything. They're fun. They're great scorers, but I don't think they do anything. Moving on to NBA news. So this is something that is weird to bring up, but I'm noticing it. The Orlando Magic leading scorer, Franz Wagner, left and limped to the locker room before the first quarter was over with a lower leg injury. Sunday? Last night. League MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ruled out at least last night's Jazz game with bursitis in the elbow. I haven't heard bursitis in a while. Giannis Antetokounmpo out a month at least with a calf strain. The entire Warriors starting lineup, including the big three of Curry, Butler, and Draymond Green, were all out with injuries in their last game. Steph Curry has missed 3 games and will be a game-time decision moving forward with a quad injury. Grayson Allen is close to 2 weeks. Jalen Green has played 1 full game, and Devin Booker will be out for at least 3 more games with quad, hamstring, and right groin injuries, respectively. LeBron James just recently returned to the Lakers lineup after missing the first quarter of the season with sciatica. Trae Young, the Hawks, out. Jason Tatum out all year from an injury last year. Most of the Bulls have been injured but are slowly coming around. Kyrie Irving's been out all year. He's not back until next month. Nuggets Aaron Gordon out until next month with a hammy pull. Nuggets Christian Brown out until the 9th with a left ankle sprain. There's a lot more. Name the team. Almost 85% of the top 2 players are out, and a couple of bench guys and a couple of back and forth cutting through the G League are out at least 3 or more games. All at the same time. There's always injuries, but it seems like it's happening all at the same time. On early season injuries are dictating a lot of what teams are able to do right now. And I don't remember so many injuries to so many name players at the same exact time. So we're going to look at this come All-Star break, and then we're going to look at it again. We're going to talk about, remember what happened in mid-December. How is that affecting the team now? And who's going to suffer come the playoffs, and who's going to be on top of it, and who's going to be ahead of the game come the playoffs. But it's a little bit odd. I just want you to stick that in the back of your head. All right, let's get to our Legend of the Day, Super Sub Edition, thought of by Nevetsov. Today, his first 3 years in the NBA were with us. He wasn't a prototypical 6-man because he started 145 of possible 240 games, but he was still coming off the bench about 40% of the time. He was known as a bench player when he first got to the Suns. Wesley freaking Person. He upped his scoring output in 3 straight years for the Suns. He averaged 10.4 points per game as a rookie in 94-95. He made one of the all-rookie teams, improved to 12.7 and 13.5 in the 2 years afterward. He always improved his scoring average. He was a dead-eye three-point shooter, one of those guys that you brought in to shoot threes, which is kind of a new concept back in the mid-90s. There were guys that were good three-point shooters, and there were guys that put him in and just shoot threes. And we don't care if you can defend, don't do anything else. Stop, stand at that line, and shoot a three, and that's what Wesley Person was for. He's really quiet personality, quiet human. I don't remember a single interview with him. I don't remember what his voice sounded like. He replaced Dan Marley in the starting lineup in Marley's last season as Marley got injured. He filled in pretty well. He was a fan favorite because he just went about his game. He caused no problems. He was really good for us. Was there a rumor, or was it something that my dad told me, that he worked with Walter Davis after Walter Davis had retired, and he worked with him on his jump shot. And there were comparisons to, he's just about 6'7", and he was a little bit more slender than Walter Davis. But the jump shot, the motion, while he upped his scoring average every year, there were rumors that he had worked with Walter Davis in the offseason because Walter Davis still kept a house in Phoenix when he wasn't after he retired. I'm going to find out if that was true. There's not a lot of info on Wesley Person. In '97, we traded him and the immortal Tony Dumas in a 3-team trade to the Cavs. We get Antonio McDyess, who was pretty good for us for a minute, and 3 first-round draft picks go to the Denver Nuggets. Wesley Person retired in 2005, playing his last season with the Nuggets. He did some assistant coaching, and fun fact, he was the younger brother of Chuck Rifleman Person, who played in the NBA for a while. There's not a lot about Wesley Person, but I think there was the whole anticipation of him being another Walter Davis. It never quite happened, but he was pretty freaking steady, and he was a good sub for us when we had him. Wesley Person is your Suns legend of the day super sub. If you got a super sub that I'm missing, let me know about it. Just hit me up in the comments section. We are at Timberwolves tonight, 5:30. Game is on Peacock. At the beginning of the season, it said it wasn't. Now the game is on Peacock, and something happens when, as the season moves on, and certain teams like, our Phoenix Suns are better than expected. So schedules are adjusted. So right now, remember, it's a Mountain Time game. So the game is at 5:30 on Peacock. You know who's out for us. We have no Jalen Green. We have no Devin Booker. Mark Williams is always day-to-day. The Timberwolves have no injuries. We have all the injuries. So they're going to be coming for us, but always good game because now we are getting up for this team and we know they can be beat. Thank you for watching Suns Latest from sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. The next one will be back with the cool posters behind me. So thank you for bearing with this. Go Suns!